Lord forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack making backflip. Tell he Hank with the action. With the Vato speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews how I vanish. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS's on a Beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Blah blah like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May, just caught a touchdown. On guard, need a rave coupe. Talking pots and pans, I done scraped a few. Still thanking God that I made it through. All my niggas shoot like they play for Duke. And got drafted by the Lakers too. Hold up, you ain't gang fool. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Hardest nigga with this shit. Pa! Hardest nigga with this shit. Ooh. At the dope spot, smelling like East St. Laurent, all this shit on me. Big 40 extend on it. Me getting money, got your bitch horny. Back then they try to shit on me. On the stove with my wrist on. How much you wanna bet this bitch wet? You would think I am, all this drip on me. Riding around in the Uber with it. Got faithful bitches like, who is this? Have his mama getting crucifixes. I ain't really with the stupid shit. On guard, need a rave coupe. Talking pots and pans, I done scraped a few. Still thanking God that I made it through. All my niggas shoot like they play for Duke. And got drafted by the Lakers too. Hold up, you ain't gang fool. Red niggas in the gang too. Rep that east side like I bang the blue. On the west side making major moves. Know that white girl like I'm grateful. This ain't up for debate. If you getting money, they gon' hate you. Riding around with them heathens. Got chopsticks, we ain't eating. Woke up counting dead guys. Went to sleep and seen demons. Got big heads, not Gina. Send a hit, Derek Jeter. Devin Booker with the hookup. Score 50 in Phoenix. Picture me having beef with niggas. I'ma snatch his bitch and then sleep with her. After that, get the Addy and ship 30 pounds of OG there. Talking money, need all of that. My phone got plays like a quarterback. Got niggas coming home from 20. Talking about getting a cornerback. Hit the bitch and never call her back. She like, where you been and all of that. I don't fall off, I fall back. And all I ever needed was a stronger pack. Nigga ballin' like Jordan back. Talk this flex shit like I taught a class. Money flowing like a faucet. Precipitation in the forecast. I was broke, the plug fixed it. I remember selling midgets. Used to call them shits Haiti Kid like WrestleMania in 86. Niggas listen like this the scriptures. Close your eyes, I'm painting pictures. Cut the shit and stop hating, nigga. I was getting paper, you was saving bitches. Riding in a motherfucking Uber. Had the trap, jumping club crucial. 30 pounds of the loud, bring it to ya. Niggas beefing, keep a motherfucking shooter. Riding in a motherfucking Uber. Had the trap, jumping club crucial. 30 pounds of the loud, bring it to ya. Niggas beefing, keep a motherfucking shooter.
I was coming down, my apartment steps in my building, and I heard boom, 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 boom.
There were shots that were fired in the area here of the HCMC facility. Both staff, patients of HCMC are fine. HCMC, the facility, was not the intended target of the shooting.
A group walking into the hospital got into a verbal confrontation with another group, and somebody from that group started shooting. We're looking at a shooting that happened earlier today down in the south side of Minneapolis to see if that's related.
Whereabouts on the south side?
38th and Portland.
Was someone hit in that one?
Yeah.
One person?
Two.
Two were they leaving the hospital by any chance?
No, they were not. They were just shot down on the south side, and so.
Do we think friends or family were leaving the hospital and they may have been the intended target?
It's possible.
I do want to reiterate that we are working closely with HCMC administration and security. The facility is still open to the public, and the safety precautions are in place. And moving forward.
Hennepin County prosecutors and Minneapolis police proclaiming a small victory in a dangerous and bloody gang battle.
Yeah, the feud between the Bloods and the Tens ended in a hail of gunfire outside of the Hennepin County Medical Center. In the front door there, it just happened 2 summers ago. A lot of you may remember that, but 2 of the suspects involved are now heading to prison. Here's Paul Bloom tonight.
According to the police and prosecutors, these gang wars have absolutely no boundaries. In fact, this case involves a wild foot chase through the halls of the Hennepin County Government Center and courthouse behind me, as well as a terrifying shootout right outside the doors of HCMC.
Number one, this is stupid and dangerous conduct. Number two, it will not be tolerated.
Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman using his prosecutorial powers to combat the ongoing gang battles on the streets of Minneapolis. On Friday, announcing a couple guilty pleas in a dangerous and bloody war between the so-called Bloods and the Tens. This one culminating in a violent exchange in August 2014. First, a crazy foot pursuit inside the government center and then out into the streets. That was followed by a frightening shooting outside Hennepin County Medical Center. Authorities claim at least 23 shots were fired. Miraculously, no one was struck, but bullets damaged windows and sent hospital workers diving for cover. The man who pulled the trigger, Percy Lacy.
Cases such as this, ongoing back and forth gang violence, don't respect neighborhood boundaries, and it doesn't respect city boundaries. It becomes a problem for everybody.
After Lacy's guilty plea, he's expected to go to prison for nearly 20 years. He's also been sentenced on federal drug trafficking charges. Meanwhile, his co-defendant, Vishon Johnson, also looking at prison time here. Though that may be the least of his worries. Johnson was paralyzed from the neck down in a separate shooting that occurred just weeks after the HCMC gunfire.
It's almost impossible to tell where it started. Sometimes it's over turf, or over drugs, or over women. But most recently, it seems to be coming out of respect.
Freeman estimates that there may be between 50 to 60 gangs operating across Minneapolis right now, with threats and taunts on social media like YouTube escalating the battles that too often lead to gunfire, bloodshed, and deaths. Paul Bloom,
Two
Fox
gang
9.
members are going to prison for a long time after pleading guilty to a string of crimes against rivals.
What sealed their fate was caught on security cameras. Back in August of 2014, surveillance video captured this foot chase between the two gangs that ended in a hail of bullets outside HCMC in downtown Minneapolis. WCCO's Bill Hudson is here to explain what's at the heart of this turf war. Bill?
Crazy stuff, Liz. What's so alarming here is that these guilty pleas involve just two of the estimated 50 to 60 gangs now active in Minneapolis, many of them small splinter gangs, but nonetheless capable of deadly violence. Tensions hit the streets of South Minneapolis in the summer of 2014 when two rival gangs, the Bloods and Tens, engaged in a running gun battle for control of their drug trade.
Starting August 19, 2014, Lacy, a Tens, shot a Blood walking down 37th Street near Chicago Avenue.
A week later, Vishon Johnson shot another member of the Bloods. Now both he and Lacy are headed to prison for attempted murder.
The scene then turned to the Hennepin County Government Center when a number of Bloods showed up looking for their enemy of the Tens, Lacy.
Security cameras show those gang members looking for Lacy's courtroom. Instead, he bolts from the building and they give chase but never catch him. 30 minutes later, Lacy and Johnson heard that rival Bloods were visiting one of theirs at HCMC who'd just been shot by Johnson. Saying his pride was hurt from the earlier foot chase, Lacy fired 23 shots after Johnson told him to air him out.
Cases such as this, ongoing back and forth gang violence, don't respect neighborhood boundaries, and it doesn't respect city boundaries. It becomes a problem for everybody.
Miraculously, nobody was shot, but staff and bystanders had to dive for cover. Freeman credits Minneapolis police with diffusing other gang retaliations and threats. But sadly, getting two gang members off the streets will create a void that will be too quickly filled. Yeah, again, nobody was hit by that gunfire at HCMC despite all those shots being fired. Then about a month later in retaliation, Vishon Johnson was hit and paralyzed by gunfire. Nobody's been caught in that attack, Liz.
Oh, crazy stuff is right, Bill. What are gang investigators blaming for these rising tensions?
Well, a number of things, but they've got good evidence that a lot of it's driven by social media like Facebook. They say that's where many of these threats are posted instead of face-to-face like it used to be. Now, in one such case, police arrested 3 gang members with felony records who were banned from possessing firearms, but they posted a photo holding guns in the air threatening another gang, so therefore they were arrested quite easily.
All right, Bill.
Thank you.
Federal indictment charging 7 members of 2 gangs in South Minneapolis.
And this all has to do with crimes related to a gang war that's been going on for years. Fox 9's Jack Heiberger is live in the newsroom. So, Jack, they're being charged with a laundry list of crimes, huh?
You know, guys, everything from weapons to drug charges laid out today in a 13-page indictment. Investigators say the 10s and 20s had been teaming up on rival gangs, leading to a violent gang war in South Minneapolis. Nicknames like Stamps, Funk, and Boo Boo, you'd be forgiven for not taking these men seriously. But if you look past the slang, investigators say you'll find a group of hardened gangsters, now at long last facing justice.
This is good news. This is the long-term strategy we need to have in order to handle organized crime.
Minneapolis Police Chief Janae Harteau called Tuesday's indictment an important step forward. In all, 7 alleged members of the violent 10s and 20s gang were charged with various drug and weapon-related crimes. Investigators say they've been fighting a war with their rivals, the Bloods and Bogus Boys. In the past year, Minneapolis police say the 10s and 20s have collected dozens of guns and are responsible for at least 50 different shootings. Last August, gang members allegedly opening fire here outside HCMC.
There doesn't seem to be a lot of concern about much of anything. We've had shootings within a block or 2 of our downtown precinct.
Sources tell Fox 9 the 10s and 20s have no real hierarchy or leadership. Both gangs operate in South Minneapolis. The 10s consider the Elliott Park area their turf, with the 20s taking ownership of Franklin to Lake Street. But all of that is now up in the air. Investigators hoping the 10s and 20s are on their way out.
It definitely made a dent. I think that we have to wait for days to come to really see just how much.
Now, sources also tell Fox 9 the 10s and 20s are a spin-off of a family mob rival to the Bogus Boys and Bloods. And while their leadership model is a bit of a mystery, investigators say many of the men indicted today are key players inside the gang. Guys?
Yo, we back. It's your boy Popalot. Mobb Ties. We on our way to Minnesota with it. Minneapolis. Now, all my gangsters, if we got anybody tuned into this shit in Minneapolis, y'all niggas get in the comment box. Let us know where you at. Let us know what the city is about. Point us in the right direction. You already know what it is. Now, today, we're going to be covering a group of guys by the name of the 10s. You kind of could even put another group of guys by the name of the 20s into this segment. But we're going to pretty much focus on the 10s. And an indictment that came down right in around 2006, where all 7 defendants have been sentenced, and those 7 defendants are going to be guys by the name of Percy P3 Lacey. It's going to be a guy that we've seen a lot of in the, or heard a lot about in the footage. Another guy by the name of Daniel Funk Adams. Another guy by the name of Clarence Claro Dickens Jr. Another guy by the name of Anthony Two-Tone Doss, Thomas Trigger Bennett, Andrew Boo Boo Peterson, and Paul Stamps Early. Now, I want to say all of them were sentenced to over 100 months in the federal penitentiary from crimes ranging from conspiracy to possess firearms in the furtherance of a drug trafficking crime, to shootings, to a multitude of different things, and they come from like a wide area in Minnesota. So if we got anybody from Richfield, y'all get in the comment box. We got anybody from Roseville, Minnesota, y'all get in the comment box. Brooklyn Park, y'all get in the comment box. St. Louis Park. So it seemed like that they were like spread out through Minnesota, through Minneapolis. Not sure how far apart that those cities are from each other, but according to the 30s, they were alleged to be involved in 50 shootings that year. I want to say it was either 2015 or 16. They was also involved in a high-profile 2014 shooting at the Hempland County Medical Center, or the HCMC, when they allegedly seen a rival. Now, according to the police, and this is their quote, Gangs like the 10s and 20s that engage in violent warfare and endanger innocent lives and pose significant threats to communities throughout Minneapolis, said Assistant U.S. Attorney Thomas Lopez. The ATF and the Minnesota Police Department have worked hard to stem the tide of gang violence in Minneapolis, and today's sentence was an important step forward. Now, according to Lacey's guilty plea, him and his co-conspirators engaged in a series of public shootings as part of a gang warfare on behalf of the 10s and 20s gang. And it's alleged that they make money off illegal drugs. According to the police, the 10s and 20s members repeatedly engaged in street warfare against rivals, primarily the Bloods, and another group of guys called the Bogus Boys. Not sure if they're affiliated with any blood sect or what part of Minnesota they operate out of. Now, to protect and seize new drug dealing territory and to attack and rob drug distributors associated with those rival gangs. Altogether, the defendants were involved in at least 50 shootings, and they're going to say at least 5 shootings between August 19th and September 23rd of 2004. So a lot of those shootings probably could have occurred in the year of 2004. Now, and also according to his guilty plea, 2 days after being caught on tape, shooting at a Bloods gang member with a semi-automatic weapon, Lacey sprayed 30 rounds of bullets outside HCMC, ignoring nearby staff, family, and children in his pursuit of a Bloods member who was visiting a member of their gang who had been shot earlier that day. So from the news footage you've seen, the police saying that they was investigating a shooting that might be tied to that shooting. It's like, bam, there you have it. So this shit just crazy. From what I known about Somalia, I heard it's real crazy with the gangs. But I mean, what I heard about Minnesota is real crazy with the Somalis. Got Somali gangs. Shit go down there. I seen that gun violence was at a high level. Y'all niggas get in the comment box. Thought it was like cold. Like, I guess it's always hoodie season around that bitch, man. Around my city, like your hoodie season. Niggas tote the shits for real. But imagine the city where that shit is always cold. But y'all get in the comment box. Let us know who else in Minnesota that we missed or we should be covering. It's your boy Popalot. Y'all follow me on Instagram, on Twitter if y'all need to get at me. If I'm missing something, POP_A_LOT. We be back with some more of this real shit. Mobb Ties.